So guys, Bitcoin broke above 100,000. Altcoins are still ripping up right now, trading a little bit sideways. The inauguration is about to happen, and a lot of people are speculating whether altcoins are going to be dumping after the inauguration, or if we're going to be keep ripping up moving into May, April, like how we did in 2024. Overall, I want to jump into the perspectives and overall price action around a few assets. If you're new to my channel, go and check out the rest of my content. I'm an intermediate trader documenting my journey, showing you guys my wins, my losses, keeping you guys updated on the day-to-day events around, the crypto news, overall price action around Bitcoin, altcoins, how you can position yourself in specific sectors, and overall the sentiment in the crypto space. Right now, everyone's speculating moving into the inauguration if alts are going to keep on pumping or if we're going to be deviating a little bit lower. A few price action points around specific charts with the total market cap are pointing away from that. So I want to jump into those perspectives and exactly what you should be doing. Let's jump into it. So guys, like I said, Bitcoin broke above 100,000, sitting at around 102,000 right now. It just hit 102,000 while I'm making this video. Total 2 chart is still waking up, but the price action around altcoins is kind of trading a little bit sideways. You guys can see with the price action around my coins for the 7-day, a lot of them are up significantly, but for that 24-hour, we're seeing up and down moves just because right now we're waiting for that next big move and price action with altcoins, with Bitcoin and everything. And right now, Bitcoin is starting to run up like crazy. Justin Bennett was talking about the total market cap, and this is where I'm giving you guys a different perspective. A lot of people are thinking alt season is already about to occur, which I also think alt season is going to be rallying up, which I'm going to be looking for that rally up and then looking for that next dip, which is going to be happening. That's why you need to be staying tuned with the day-to-day events. Like, comment, subscribe. Overall though, with the total market cap, Justin Bennett talks about how he doesn't know and doesn't feel too comfortable with this. He says, I don't know, fam. The equal lows on the total chart makes me nervous. I would feel better about the bottom being in place if we had seen a sweep of the December wicks. And what he's talking about is these 2 specific red arrows, guys, with the specific lows that we saw in December. And we're not we didn't sweep those specific zones, so this has him speculating exactly where we're moving with this specific price action. He goes on to say the timing is also a concern with the SPX, the S&P 500, hitting a critical weekly level today. He says, see my last post, Bitcoin and ETH. And overall, you can see he talked about exactly the S&P 500, and he was talking about how if we're trusting this early 2025 pump, because this could be a problem for risky assets moving into Q1. Time will tell. And now we're starting to see that price action. And once we start to see specific price action around the markets, the US markets, guys, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, you usually start to see some movement around crypto as well. And these assets kind of have some sort of correlation, so you need to keep up with this. And based off of the wicks that are setting up, this has a few people speculating that we could be deviating lower after the inauguration. But this is where you have to pull in your own perspective. Benjamin Cohen also made a great post talking about Bitcoin dubious speculation. It's a 30-minute video. You don't have to watch the whole video, but he just gives different perspectives and different scenarios that could be happening around Bitcoin based off of specific price action, how specific events could be happening, administration, and more different things. So it's really good to look at that video to get a different perspective. Like how I said with Justin Bennett, he's also giving a different perspective based off of how that total chart is getting affected, and also with the price action around the S&P 500. Also moving into pretty much the total chart, guys, for Bitcoin, moving into whenever we're going to start to see Bitcoin actually reach a new all-time high. CryptoCon talked about exactly March 2025 is just around the corner, which is scheduled to be the first cycle top according to this Fibonacci retrace of the halvings. And we've been following, guys, these specific charts around CryptoCon, and they have been hitting everything to the T, which is really important because I gave you guys a macro lens, but also like to give you guys charts like this to give you guys a more broad perspective as to when we're going to hit these zones for Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything else. He goes, think April 2013, June 2017, and April 2021. Right here in these specific zones, you guys can see with these orange zones that he had put off. These were the cycle tops, and then before that, you can see the first cycle tops. From there, he goes on to say these retraces work by placing the 0 and 1 points at each of the halving dates, excluding November 28th, 2012, where April leads to better accuracy. The 0.236 and 0.382 levels of these retraces have hit first and final cycle top dates to near perfect precision. The final cycle top is set for October 2025 according to this measure, using the projected halving date of March 27th, 2028. So potentially, guys, we could be seeing the first top in March of 2025. This is where a lot of people think that altcoins are going to be ripping up significantly, but based off of the price action of Bitcoin, more than likely we could be seeing Bitcoin dominance move up and USDT dominance move up, especially if we start to see, specific movement around the US markets. Overall, though, giving a broad perspective, we can see that, that price action around Bitcoin is still getting ready to rally. So you need to keep all of this in mind. But overall, this is pointing to the fact that more than likely we're going to see a lot of liquidity and price action after Q1 moving into Q2. Miles Dutcher has been giving his perspective, and I love to see Miles Dutcher's perspective just because he is, biased. A lot of people are biased. I'm even biased to specific things, but I like to see his perspective on a broad perspective on how people are, approaching the markets and different price action around specific assets. He's been talking about Bitcoin dominance, talking about how the volatility has been working from previous cycles and exactly where we're at now, the others chart, and exactly Q1 seasonality. But one thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is one chart that I actually reposted because I really agreed with it. He says, grind hard now until May. Chill out for a couple months. Pay attention during this period, but don't overtrade. Ramp up again in September. Basically the playbook from last year repeated. And right now, this is where you got to have that different perspective. I kind of agree with this. I think moving into, the next few months, we're going to start to see a lot of price action. Moving into the inauguration, we're going to probably see more pumps, but then potentially some dumps. And a lot of people aren't positioning themselves for this. And if you can, allocate and also position yourself whenever we see the rips as well as those dumps, then you can start to make a lot of money. And based off of the price action on the previous cycle, this is where I implore you to go do some research and look at the previous cycle in 2024. Back in March, guys, we saw a huge rip for altcoins, and then we saw a huge deviation moving into June. Meme coins started to rally up during that time, actually. And then moving into the start of August, we saw a crazy crash in the markets because of Japan's stock market. And then from there, now you guys know exactly, how October, November, December worked, and now moving into January. But overall, this is a great post just because, looking at the previous cycle, seeing how everything was working last year can really help you correlate and, coordinate where you want to put yourself. Right now, guys, wiping everything to the side, price action around Bitcoin and altcoins is really crazy. Moving into the inauguration is really going to show us exactly how altcoins is really going to respond. I think a lot of Bitcoin, a lot of people are thinking Bitcoin dominance has peaked out, but I still think Bitcoin dominance is going to rally super hard, like how Miles Dutcher said in that previous post. I think it's going to be almost like a previous play from 2024, how the price action moved from Bitcoin and altcoins, and then from there into multiple different sectors. Right now, AI agents and AI infrastructure are leading, but this is where you need to start positioning yourself and really determine exactly how you want to make the gains and what you think is going to be happening. But overall, guys, that is what I think is going to be happening in the crypto markets. I want to run back through everything so you guys have an understanding, and then from there, I'm going to let you guys know what I think you should be doing, not financial advice. So guys, price action around Bitcoin is ripping up very significantly, and the total 2 chart is also ripping up very significantly, but price action around altcoins is chopping a little bit sideways. For 7-day, a lot of assets are up very significantly, but for the 24-hour, everything is jumping up and jumping down. Just a bit, it gives his perspective on the total market cap, and overall, just pretty much how we didn't sweep specific wicks back in December, and this kind of gives him some concern, especially with the SPX, S&P 500 hitting a critical weekly level today. Benjamin Cohen also is giving his perspective and dubious speculation around Bitcoin based off of specific scenarios, price action, and events that are currently happening, like the inauguration. CryptoCon gave his, a great chart, the Fibonacci halvings, in terms of when we're going to be seeing the first top 4 Bitcoin, a new all-time high, which is projected in March of 2025. And then that next all-time high is potentially going to be happening in October of 2025. Miles Dutcher goes on to talk about a lot of different, perspectives around Bitcoin dominance, the others chart, and overall Q1 seasonality. But one great post that he says is, grind hard from now until May, chill out for a couple of months, then pay attention during this period, but don't overtrade, ramp up again in September. Basically, the playbook from last year repeated. The whole point of why I'm telling you this is to look back in 2024. Look at how the charts moved around specific assets, at least assets that were leading in the markets. And from there, you can really understand exactly how everything is more than likely going to be playing out. But the playbook from 2024, exactly how everyone is moving. Swiping everything to the side, guys. Right now, I'm really waiting to see what news is going to be happening once we start to see the inauguration start to happen. Right now, I'm waiting to allocate to the markets. I already have a decent bag. You guys have been seeing my portfolio mainly around AI infrastructure and gaming. But right now, exactly, just waiting to see what is going to be happening for altcoins, the price action around Bitcoin as well as overall how the overall U.S. charts are going to be looking, the U.S. economy, S&P 500, everything like that. From there, we can start to look at our indicators, start to correlate and see exactly what's going to be happening. But if you're new to my channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. I'm an intermediate trader documenting my journey, showing you guys my wins, my losses, keeping you guys updated on the day-to-day events around the crypto markets, around specific price action around Bitcoin, altcoins, and overall how you can pretty much position yourself around specific altcoins and sectors to make the most gains. Right now, the price action around Bitcoin is ripping up. Total 2 chart is also ripping up, but based off of the total crypto market and specific wicks that we saw previously in December, this has a few crypto analysts speculating whether we are going to be dipping down after the inauguration. Other people think we're going to be ripping up. This is where you got to start doing your own due diligence and really determine what's going to be happening. But overall, let me know what you guys think is going to be happening in the crypto markets. Drop it down below in the comments. Any questions, suggestions, drop it down as well. I honestly am really curious on what's going to be happening and exactly what you guys have to say as well. But overall, I drop day-to-day content, so stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.